My name is Elena, and I'm 32 years old. For most of my life, I believed two things without question: that my mother loved me more than anything in this world, and that my father abandoned us before I was old enough to remember his face. Those two truths shaped everything about me: the way I attached to people, the way I feared being left, the way I defended my mother whenever anyone even hinted she wasn't perfect. It wasn't until a courtroom fell silent around me that I realized one of those truths had never been true at all. I grew up in a small coastal town where everyone knew everyone's business, except mine. It was just my mom and me in a two-bedroom rental with peeling white paint and a stubborn screen door that never fully closed. She worked double shifts at a nursing home and came home smelling like antiseptic and exhaustion. I worshipped her for it. Whenever I asked about my dad, her face would harden. "He left," she would say, "when you were 2, packed a bag, and walked out." That was the story. Clean, simple, final. When I was 8, I drew a Father's Day card at school because the teacher said everyone had to. I gave it to my mom instead. She cried and held me tight and whispered, "You don't need him. You have me." I believed her. In high school, when friends complained about strict dads or embarrassing dads, I stayed quiet. I imagined mine somewhere far away, indifferent, maybe with another family he cared about more. I told myself I didn't care either, but late at night, I would scroll through social media searching his name, Daniel Reyes. It was common enough that I could never be sure which one was him. Every man with that name became a possibility, a ghost I could never quite catch. When I turned 18, I asked my mom for his contact information. She slammed a cabinet door so hard it cracked. "Why would you want to talk to someone who didn't want you?" she snapped. The shame hit me like a slap. I never asked again. Life moved forward. College on scholarships, a degree in communications, a job at a small marketing firm in the city. I moved out at 24, but called my mom every Sunday. She told everyone I was her greatest accomplishment. Then, on a rainy Tuesday in October, everything shifted. I was at work when I got a call from a law office I didn't recognize. "Is this Elena Morales?" the woman asked. "Yes. My name is Karen Patel. I'm calling from Patel and Green. We've been trying to reach you regarding the estate of Daniel Reyes." My throat went dry. "I think you have the wrong person," I said automatically. "No," she replied gently. "According to our records, you are his daughter." The world seemed to tilt. "He's dead?" I asked. There was a pause. "He passed away 3 weeks ago." I don't remember the rest of that call clearly, just fragments. A will, an estate, a court hearing scheduled because someone was contesting it. Someone. When I called my mom that night and told her, there was a long silence on the other end. Then she said very calmly, "I told you he left us. That man doesn't concern us." "Mom," I whispered, "the lawyer says I'm in his will." Another silence. Longer this time. "You're not going to that," she said. It wasn't a suggestion, but something in me, something that had been quiet for years, finally spoke up. "I am." The courtroom was colder than I expected. Too bright. Too sterile. I sat on a wooden bench, palms sweating, surrounded by strangers who were apparently my father's other family. A woman in her late 50s sat stiffly in the front row. His wife, I assumed. 2 younger men beside her. My half-brothers. They stared at me like I was an intruder. When the judge entered and proceedings began, I felt like I was watching someone else's life unfold. The lawyer read from the will. "To my daughter, Elena Morales." The room shifted. Gasps. Murmurs. I leave my primary residence and 50% of my liquid assets. The wife stood up so fast her chair scraped violently against the floor. "This is absurd," she shouted. "He had no daughter before our sons. The judge banged his gavel. "Sit down, Mrs. Reyes." But she didn't. She pointed at me. "She's lying. He told me his ex kept his child from him, that she disappeared." My ears rang. Kept his child from him. The judge looked down at a folder. "There are documented attempts," he said calmly, "including certified letters and filed petitions for visitation spanning nearly 8 years. 8 years. I couldn't breathe. Records show Mr. Reyes paid court-ordered child support consistently until the age of 18, despite repeated denials of visitation. The room went silent. The court didn't hide the truth. My mom did. After the hearing, I walked outside in a daze. The sky was gray, matching the fog in my head. The lawyer approached me. "I'm sorry you had to find out like this," she said softly. "Your father tried. There are copies of everything. Letters he wrote you. Birthday cards that were returned unopened." I felt like I was splitting in two. The man I'd imagined as heartless had fought for me, and the woman I'd trusted most had built a wall between us. When I confronted my mom that night, she didn't deny it. "He didn't deserve you," she said, her voice trembling but defiant. "He cheated. He humiliated me. I wasn't going to let him play father when it suited him. That wasn't your choice to make." I shouted. "I protected you. You protected yourself." The words hung between us, sharp and irreversible. She broke down then, sobbing about betrayal, about young love, about how angry she had been, how she couldn't stand the thought of him moving on and being happy while she struggled. "So you erased him?" I asked quietly. She didn't answer. In the weeks that followed, I read every letter he'd written. "Elena, I hope you like dinosaurs this year." "Elena, I'll be at the park Saturday just in case." "Elena, I'm not giving up." The last letter was dated 2 months before I turned 10. After that, the legal filings showed he'd run out of options. He never stopped paying support. He never stopped listing me as his daughter. He just stopped being allowed to see me. Grief hit me in waves, not just for his death, but for the 20 years stolen from us. I met my half-brothers for coffee one afternoon. It was awkward at first, defensive, but they were kind. "He talked about you," the older one admitted. "Said you were smart, that you loved drawing when you were little." I swallowed hard. I did love drawing. "He kept a box of your pictures from preschool." The younger one said, "Mom hated it." That detail hurt in a strange way. He had kept pieces of me. The inheritance wasn't what mattered anymore. It felt heavy, almost uncomfortable. What mattered was that the court had acknowledged something my entire childhood had denied. I had been wanted. When the estate settled, I visited his house alone before it was officially transferred. It smelled like old wood and citrus cleaner. On the mantel was a photo of 2 boys and a space between them, empty, a space that should have been mine. I cried in that living room for a long time. My relationship with my mom fractured after that. Not explosively, quietly, like a crack spreading through glass. She tried to justify herself repeatedly, said she was young, said she was hurt, said she thought she was doing what was best. Maybe she believed that, but love built on control isn't protection. It's possession. It's been a year now. I've renovated the lake-facing house. I kept his bookshelf exactly the same. I framed one of his letters in my office. My mom and I speak, but carefully. There's an invisible line neither of us crosses. Sometimes I sit on the porch at sunset and imagine what my life might have been if the truth hadn't been hidden for 20 years. I can't get those years back, but the court didn't let the lie survive. And in the end, that truth, however painful, gave me something I never had before. The certainty that I was never abandoned. I was loved, and that changes everything.